your host, Munif Saza. And today we will be bringing on our special guests, Chai and Prakash, to underwrite your creative deals. While we wait for Chai and Prakash um, and for people to jump on, I want to tell you a little bit about my weekend. Uh, this weekend, we were at the State of the Union Sub 2 event. We had Jamil Damji, Brent Daniels, and of course, our very own Pace Morby there at the event. And we called uh, listing agents live at the event. So we spent about an hour to an hour and a half calling realtors with specific niche lists that we pulled. Thanks to shout out Kevin Cho for providing the lists and um, uh, really bringing the data to everybody so we can actually go ahead and make those phone calls. So, it was an excellent weekend. The State of the Union was fantastic. We called realtors live. We made phone calls. I think we got like 3 or 4 contracts during that time period. Somebody actually assigned Pace a deal, which was amazing. So great time. We got to catch up and see a lot of sub two people who traveled around the country to come see everybody. We've got Chai. I think we've got Chai right here. Guys, by the way, if you're on Facebook, I cannot see your comments. I can only see your comments if you're on um, YouTube or you're on Twitch. All right, let's see. What is going on, Chai? How are you?
Hey guys, how are you? What's going on?
We are super good. Is Prakash joining us today?
Yeah, I think so. Let's.
So, Chai, you were at the State of the Union. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about this weekend.
Oh man, that was, amazing. It was better than the Clever Summit that we went to.
Really? You liked it more than Clever?
So again, not from the event standpoint, but so the Clever Summit had like 2,000 people.
Right.
Everybody was like, basically when you have so many people at one place, it's like 5 separate events going on at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
When you have 150 people, I think that's good amount of people to like really connect on a deeper level and build like meaningful connections instead of it's like speed dating versus going on multiple dates, something
Yeah.
like that, I would say.
Yeah. No, exactly. So you get to actually build meaningful connections with people when it's a little bit of a
And
smaller
with the
crowd.
same people, we did like 4 events back to back, like the event night before, event the night of the State of the Union, and then event after next day. So it was pretty good.
That was
Like,
pretty good. Yeah. So you got to really network and meet a lot of people. And then we actually have some potential deals out of this event.
yeah.
Wow. So, guys, if you're networking and you're going to this event and you get one deal from it, that alone justifies going to these networking events. So that's amazing. So Chai, tell us a little bit about what we're about to do today.
So I'm sorry, my camera is on now, and I gotta adjust this. Yeah, so we are gonna deep dive into one of the deals we actually got from the event in
No way. Really?
Phoenix.
That's awesome.
And I just sent out a contract, and sellers agreed to sign it. The only reason only reason agent is not allowing them to sign is because it's his first time doing something where he's making an assignment instead of a commission. So now he's worried that is making assignment really a legal thing? How does it work? So he has questions, not the sellers. So he's graduating. I'm happy for the agent doing creative
He's,
things
he's
other
graduating.
than just selling houses. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great deal. It's a hybrid deal, and we'll dive into it very shortly.
So the seller, you're
Do
saying
you?
the seller's ready to sign. The
Yep.
agent is not exactly sure how creative finance works and what an assignment is, and he's not sure that he
Yep.
can legally make an assignment fee.
Yeah. And he Googled it, and Google's not the right coach for wholesaling or creative finance for that matter. And Google said, don't do it. It's not legal.
That's
So
so
he
funny.
wants,
Google does not teach creative finance, guys. If you're watching,
yep.
don't learn creative finance from Google. Did you maybe have them talk to a title company? Maybe that.
Yeah, so I just I mean, I just got off the call with him, but title company didn't pick up, so I left him a message. So I should be hearing back from them. Maybe I'll have to
So if a title company
pause.
allows you to do it, how can the title company allow you to do something that's illegal? Title companies are
Yeah,
attorney; they insure these properties for clear, title. So, what's going on, Prakash? Nice
yep.
to see you here.
Hey guys, sorry for the delay.
So, Chai says that we're going to be underwriting the deal that we potentially got here, just waiting on a couple more signatures from the event, the State of the Union event. We actually produced a deal, so that's really exciting that we're actually going to be doing this deal together. So Chai and Prakash, tell us a little bit about this deal. I know we don't have it under contract yet, so let's keep the address a little sensitive because this is being streamed on multiple channels like YouTube and Twitch and
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, I can.
Yeah,
Title
let's
company
let's
didn't
do it.
know
Do
how to
we
share.
like? Does any one of you have like a whiteboard?
I have a
Or
whiteboard. You want me to put on my whiteboard?
yeah, I
No,
think
I
so.
think we.
Can you do a
What's that?
whiteboard here?
No, I'm gonna share a spreadsheet and we can go down the numbers.
Yeah, that would be
Sure,
perfect.
let's do
Let me
that.
see.
Brian says, I had a person tell me today the title company didn't know how to do the assignment with the seller financing. Huh. Interesting.
Thank you, David.
Stay away from that title company.
Yeah, stay away from that title company. David says, congratulations on another deal. Wow. Thank you, David. Really appreciate you. Guys, we're going to
Let me
underwrite
make.
a real deal that we're doing right now. We're going to show you all the numbers, how much we're getting the deal for, how much we're paying out in fees, and how much we're making on the back end. So this is really cool stuff. We're going to do these case studies on real wraps that we're actually doing today in today's market, and how we're actually making money by being the bank in today's market. So do you need me to give you the ability to share screen chat?
I think I can share it already.
Okay, good.
Just give me 1 second. I'm
Yeah, take your time.
putting this in the
While we wait for
notes.
Chai to get his numbers together, guys, if you're watching right now, shout out Chai and Prakash. Share how amazing they are with the rest of the world. Please go ahead and tag them on Facebook, on Instagram, on any social media platform that you're currently on.
Yeah, and I highly recommend start bringing your deals to this call because I'm getting since we started this, I'm getting a lot of calls, especially for underwriting the deals. So
Okay,
we would be happy to do that.
that's awesome. Oh, here we go. You had it up, Chai, the screen share, and then here we go. There, boom. We can't see anything outside of your desktop, Chai.
Hey, hold on 1 sec, guys. I'm
Okay.
just. I had to
No
take
problem.
that call. I'm just trying to share the other screen. It doesn't give me the option to share screen 1 and 2 like that, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna take this one off.
Okay, no, there you go. Got it.
Juice says, hey guys, appreciate all you guys, Munif Chai Prakash, spending time to go through real estate deals. Sucks to have to run in 5 minutes. Munif, when are you making seller calls? Ooh, okay, Ju. I'm gonna be making seller calls tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I think. I think I'm gonna be doing tomorrow, Wednesday. I think I'm gonna only stream from Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and keep it limited. Because Thursday, Fridays, most people don't, they're busy. It's East Coast people are like not trying to do real estate stuff Thursday and Friday evenings. So
All
I think
right.
I'm going to stream
Okay, now you can put.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah. Juice says I've got some deals to underwrite as well. That is
Oh,
amazing.
awesome.
We should definitely underwrite Jews deals.
Okay, you see my screen?
Yes, we see your
All right,
screen.
so this deal is in Fort Worth, Texas. If for people who don't know where Fort Worth is, I'm gonna put that on the map. It's in the DFW area, the Dallas Fort Worth. It's like a twin city. It's huge as a combined city.
So Dallas is right next to Fort Worth.
Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth is basically one big metro.
Oh, and
And
Arlington is right between them.
so we got Austin in the same line. So eventually, if Austin grows the way we think it's growing, it's going to be one big straight line city here and overtake Houston population and everything. So we got this deal here in Fort Worth, and it's in the northern part, somewhere in this area, I want to say.
Okay.
And it's a typical deal came from. So we did this exercise just to give you a little bit of background. We did an exercise in this State of the Union event, and next chance you guys get, please go to this event. If you are not chosen this time, be more active on sub 2 group, and definitely make a point to go to this event. What we
Yeah.
did in this event, one of the exercises is we called uh, called realtors whose listings are on the market for certain number of days, and we knew what the asking price is, and someone pulled a list with what the mortgage amount is. While this deal did not come from that list, it's exactly same situation where the deal is sitting on the market for too long, house is in pristine condition. uh, at least, I mean, that's what it shows in the picture. We haven't seen it in person yet.
Of course.
But if it looks like what it is in the pictures, I mean, it is in great shape. I can't remember what the age of the property is. I'm gonna try and check real quick here. So the age of the property is 2014, which is very recent build.
Wow.
The Zillow shows schools as, I mean, Dallas Fort Worth is already a great area. The rent comps are around 23, 2400, and the schools are 5, 6, 7, elementary, middle, and high. 5, 6, 7. That's a great, I mean, that's like investor's dream. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we got
easy,
this
easy to
deal.
rent. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Zillow for that house is already 350, and we were able to negotiate that deal down to 300, and that came out to be a great offer for them because they got offers from other wholesalers, including Open Door. So guys, we beat Open Door in this deal already.
That's awesome. So how much
Okay,
did those
so
other
this
wholesalers?
is what creative finance can do to you.
So how much
So
did those other wholesalers and Open Door offer them?
So Open Door, I mean, more than likely is probably the best wholesaler in the nation.
Yeah.
And if Open Door is in your competition, it's hard to beat them. I mean, everybody agrees
Right.
with that, right? So Open Door offered 270, and because of creative finance and what we know and what other people don't know, we could offer 300. And
Okay.
in fact, we offered them 300 on the phone, where the realtor gets paid $10,000, the seller gets paid $10,000, and the wholesaler who brought the deal to us gets paid $10,000. While on the phone, agent did not listen to what I was explaining, also negotiated the deal by up by 10 grand. So I ended up agreeing to 310, and he misunderstood what I said and went and offered the seller 325.
Jesus. He really
So
screwed you.
now, because he made the mistake, now I have to own up to that mistake. So we went from 300 to 325, but our out-of-pocket cost. So let's go back to our spreadsheet
So you're
here.
telling me because of a mistake the agent made, the purchase price went up by $25,000,
Yes,
and
sir.
that still didn't kill the deal? I would think that would kill the deal. That's a lot of
Oh,
money.
not at all. So let's see the numbers.
What do
That's
you
where
mean
the
not at all? We're paying this guy $25,000 more, but because of creative finance on their exit strategy, we're still able to do this, and it's still a deal for us. Wow.
let's see the numbers. Okay, so ARV is $350,000. Initial offer. Okay, let's.
So, Chai, that open door 270 was a walkaway offer, or it was
Yeah, walk away
because
cash offer.
okay, because typically they have like 4 or 5% they deduct on top of that.
Yes, yeah, that's possible. That's possible. But let's say 270 walk away. That's what he's claiming. So even if we did not take advantage of that and did not negotiate our way down further using what Prakash just said. So this is a very, very important thing. What Prakash just said is 270,000, even though open door offers that, more than likely there is somewhere in the range of 5 to 8% reduction from that number. So
I've experienced that personally, trying to sell something to Open Door.
yeah, so if I do that, that would be the offer. So if you know that, if you have that knowledge, you can use that against your seller in your negotiation.
Yeah, and what I have seen from all the appointments, I think as a any other wholesaler is even not able to beat that 248.
Correct.
Because open door offers, they are not making money; they are losing money when they put these houses back on market.
Right.
They are losing money. They're going out of business, by the way.
6 months ago, this like offer, I mean, even if like someone bought it for 300, they would have made money because 6 months ago market was different. We were in sellers market. Someone could have like there would have been a bidding war for all like all I know.
Right.
But today market has changed. So their property is sitting on the market at 350 for too long. They just want out. They already purchased their house in Colorado. They just want to be done with it and move on. Okay. So our initial offer was 300 total with 10K for seller, realtor, and wholesaler each. But negotiated offer was 310K with 15K for seller, realtor, and 10K for wholesaler.
So
And
that's basically now our offer is at 45 plus closing costs. That's our out of pocket.
correct. So that is
Wow.
out of pocket comes out to be 40. Oh, I wish that was $40. And I have not included the closing costs. 3,000. Let's call it 43,000.
Boom. $43,000
Out of pocket. And
So
after the confusion, these numbers change to
I can't believe this. 325. Holy cow. So you're paying
okay.
more than
So we went up by $25,000. Okay.
Wow.
Our out of pocket is still the same, and that's where the real magic is. So now let's really break down and get into the details of liens. So lien 1 conventional is at $135,000.
Okay.
So So since Chai is on that side, this is a conventional lien, so we
Okay.
should not have any problem if we wrap it to get title policy.
Okay, so because a problem with FHA and VA loans is getting title insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
For the wrap buyer.
For the wrap buyer.
You, as a buyer, sub 2 buyer, you can get the insurance
Okay.
on a pure sub 2 deal. But
Okay.
this is hybrid deal.
So when you wrap a VA loan, your wrap buyer doesn't get title insurance?
No.
If it is FHA and VA. I mean, well, I'll take that. I mean, in Texas, because the new wrap laws came into effect recently, 3-4 months ago, none of the wrap buyers get title insurance. Period.
Wow.
That's the new normal. But if at all any wrap buyer just for some reason fixated on getting title insurance and you cannot negotiate away from that, the only way they can get it is if underlying lien is conventional and conventional only, or seller finance. If the underlying lien is FHA or VA, they cannot get title insurance, period. That's the end of story right there.
And so there's a new law in Texas that says wrap buyers cannot get any title insurance?
I mean, the law doesn't state that. The law doesn't allow wraps, hence no title insurance because title company doesn't want to be involved. And you cannot even close that title company.
Got it. So there's a new law in Texas that does not allow reps.
Yeah. So
title company, just like VA loans, title companies have a hard time doing VA loans. They're going to have a hard time with wraps in Texas. How are you is this affecting your strategy right now at all?
not really. So we have a couple law firms we work with, and we just work very closely.
So you guys are now directly working with law firms.
Yeah, and that's when I think, the person trying to find you a buyer, their experience comes into play.
Okay.
How to convince the buyer. I think that's a separate topic. Again, when we go back to how to find a buyer, we can discuss about that.
Jew says the law in Texas doesn't allow wraps. Wow, did not know that. Thought Texas was a great place for wraps.
I mean, it does allow wraps, but you need to be a registered mortgage lender.
Got it. So it just basically made a new barrier of entry. Texas put a barrier of entry on before you can do wraps. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And this is the topic I think we discussed on our last meeting, and where we use Texas Pride Lending or we use ONF. They will go as a lender on the books when we close it and assign it back to us.
Got it. So you work deals out with, kind of like sometimes people need to pull permits, but they're not a GC, so they partner with the GC who pulls the permits for them. Something like that. You see a lot in fix and flips. Do you factor in a buyer's agent's commission, or are you guys buying unrepresented without a buyer's agent? Richard Knowles is asking.
So, I'm sorry, say that again.
So do you need to factor in a buyer's agent commission, or are you guys buying unrepresented without a buyer's agent?
Oh, we are paying the realtor here.
15. So you're paying the realtor like 2-3%? And that's
we are paying the realtor 6% or 5% in this case.
Oh wow, you're paying the realtor 5%.
And we are paying the wholesaler $10,000.
So you're telling me is this realtor representing you, or they're just representing the seller for 5%?
No, so I'm teaching him how to wholesale and make his money without having to pay his broker.
And then he's not representing
any parties.
He's just getting his fees.
So he's not a realtor in this transaction. He is a wholesaler. He's making an assignment fee.
Yeah, so
Or
we are
finance.
getting the contract directly, and we are paying him a fee because he doesn't know how to structure the deal, and he's not familiar with the assignment contract as well.
So as a realtor, we are realtors in
Oh, you
Texas.
guys are both licensed realtors in Texas.
Yeah. So as a realtor, you have to pay your broker certain percentage depending on your brokerage rules. Our broker is our friend, so we have a different situation. But most people who work with Keller Williams, EXP, they all have anywhere between 20% to up to 50%, depending on how many deals they did and what experience level they're at, etc. So if this guy were to make 15 grand on a deal that is his first deal of the year or second or third deal of the year, he could be running a risk of losing $7,500. So we are putting more money in his pocket, more money in seller's pocket, more money in wholesaler's pocket, and still able to make this deal happen.
And then something that to his brokerage, I don't think his brokerage allows sub to.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah.
I think he was mentioning he doesn't want to, but that's a different topic. He was not sure, so he wants to keep his brokerage out.
Okay. So he was like, "Hey, I found this deal on my own. I want to make an assignment fee as a
Yeah.
wholesaler. You know,
Yeah.
you guys are not using agents. You guys can be direct to seller. I just want to make sure I get paid on this deal for being
So
here."
here is the breakdown. Okay. So initial offer was 300,000 with 10K to seller, 10K to realtor, and 10K to wholesaler.
Okay.
And verbally accepted that. So when we scheduled a phone call, he said the seller does not want anything less than 15,000. Can you guys adjust? And since I'm representing both sides, can I make 15,000? So we were like, okay, 310. Let's not exceed that.
Okay.
So what we did in this negotiation is we did not mention anything about the interest rate on the seller finance lien.
Okay.
Okay. So we know what the conventional lien is, and we know what the interest rate is, and we know what the payment is, and it's got about 22 years left on it.
Okay. Okay. So that's the
Seller,
sub two, right? You're
yeah,
taking that conventional lien of 135,000 sub two at a 4.75% interest rate, where the PITI
yeah.
is 1,800 a month. Got it.
The seller just wants to be done at the end of 22 years. Okay. So they requested that their seller finance be the same term or
Got it.
less. So I
Got
said,
it.
okay, I'll knock 1 year off so you feel better. So I wrote up a contract according to this deal. I'm sorry, this deal, 310,
Mhm.
sent it out, and look at our payment, that is 530.
$535 a month.
And
P&I.
I just tilted the scale in our advantage at 0%.
Of course.
And that's when he was like, oh, I didn't think it was 0% on the phone. And I said, I just broke down the payments to you, and you agreed to that. I thought you understood. But he said, okay, let me try to push it. However, I did make one mistake, and I didn't tell them that I'm making 15,000 as part of the 310. I thought you were going to pay me outside of the 310.
Oh.
So that's when I was like, oh, okay, now the offer is really 325 and not 310. Okay. But look at this. The fun part with seller finance is when you have 0%, you're
Right.
really paying down the loan. There is no
Of course.
interest. Also, I played a small trick and changed the term. I mean, not
Okay.
trick. I told them, and I told him, hey, look, I will give you. In fact, I was negotiating, and Prakash came back and said, oh, don't negotiate. This is too risky to negotiate because this is 0% interest deal.
Yeah, he's
Let's pay
happy.
them more and keep our term. So this is the trade-off you guys want to remember. You should, I mean, again, you should be able to negotiate better every time. Uh, you should try and get the best deal for yourself
Right.
every time.
Right.
But the biggest part of seller finance or a creative deal is when you do negotiation the first time, you should conclude it in that first round of conversation. If you drag it too much, sellers start getting second
They get
thoughts.
anxious. Yeah.
And if you go like you renegotiate and negotiate after that, even if it's because of someone else's mistake, you shouldn't do that, because that can, I mean, it'll cost you a bigger, I mean, it'll cost you a
That's the
lot
deal.
more than that couple grand that you have to shell out. And really, even if the seller finance amount went up by 15 grand, I stretched the term to 22 years, kept the interest rate at 0%. So really, the look at the payments.
It's
I
the
mean, the
same. It's like 30
less
bucks
than
more.
$35 a month.
So you're
I
this
mean,
is why Prakash is going, oh, no problem. We can pay $25,000 more
yes.
because you're
And
paying
we were like,
$30
okay, let's
a month.
not get into this negotiation. And that's why, I mean, having a good team who is playing the devil's advocate, every time you think in one direction, you need a partner who thinks in the other direction. So, and this is ARV conservatively. During COVID, this was 375. And this house doesn't need any repairs.
Got it.
So we are still able to pull off this deal at 43,000 down. Our payment will go up by like $35. If I did insist, and if I wanted to be slightly more pushy, I could have played it differently and stretched the term slightly further to match my payment and not hurt the bottom line at all, even after paying more money. But again, who knows what's going to happen after 22 years? For all I know, I'm going to refinance this within 10 years. A lot of things can happen. So for now, I care about bagging the deal and not stretching the
The term out.
terms or numbers or negotiation. So
Okay.
this is the beauty of creative finance.
So you were able to now create a second lien for 150,000. Your P&I is 568. It's a 264-month term. That's what, a 22-year term. So
Yeah.
now what? Now let's say they sign. What do we do? I mean, what's market rent here? I mean, P&I
Yeah.
is 570 and PITI is what, 1800. So we're
Yes. Our total monthly payment is 1811 plus 568. And market rent is 2250.
So this is a deal. I just want everyone to look at this. This is a deal where you're out of pocket 40K, and hopefully a little less. Maybe we can, it's really tight because look, you're out of pocket right now 40K, and you're negative cash flowing like hundreds of dollars a month. You're like not
Yep.
making any money as a rental. You're actually losing money, and if something breaks, you lose even more money. So the real estate market's going down in Houston. The market's really correcting. So why would anyone buy this deal? Why would anyone pay a wholesaler any money for this? Why would anyone pay a seller any money? Why would anyone pay a realtor any money where there's really no equity in this deal and you're negative cash flowing? Why would anyone do this deal?
I mean, that's where you need to know what the next, I mean, that's where you need to level up according to where the market's going.
Mm-hmm.
So we did rentals. I'm sorry, 1 second. So we did purchase, we did buy 35 rentals last year, somewhere there, and actually converted them to rentals. Because last year, anything we touch, it was just, I mean, the price was racing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just going up like crazy. If I bought something last year for $100,000 with
Okay.
the ARV of 160, I could have wrapped that property or owner financed it for maybe 170. And because I held it for over a year, because I believed in my vision, I held it for over a year. Now I can wrap that same property for over 270. and make extra $10,000 a year just because I like did my time and made it work as a rental,
Okay.
even though it was stressful, right? Because managing 40-50 rentals is no fun, like not at all. I would not do that ever again in my life. But that time it worked. It put us in the right direction. But now is not the time to buy rentals, because guess what? This is just the negative. I'm sorry.
So you've got to put, vacancies, repairs, and things like that.
Yeah. Before before vacancy, before repairs, before any expenses,
Mhm.
I'm cash flowing already $129 negative cash flow.
Right.
If I put vacancy and then repairs are usually, in our opinion, like we discussed in last couple episodes, it's about 10% of your market rent.
Right.
I mean, if you do it creatively or you have a property management, I mean, regardless of what you do, one way or the other, you're gonna pay about 10%. So minus $350 plus a month negative, even though like you have a crystal ball, you don't want to pay that out of pocket. Okay. So the best thing to do in this case is find a wrap buyer, and the whole reason we do this owner finance, so that by the end of, like, as we complete the disposition of this asset, we are possibly almost zero, if not positive, out of pocket. Like, we are not negative out of pocket, we actually walk away with money sometimes. So in this case, okay, I mean, just feel free to stop me if I'm going
All right.
fast.
Let's answer some questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nicole Tedder asks, "Hey, what broker are you guys with?"
Oh, it's a local broker. We are with 99 Mansions Realty. He's one of our friends. He's also an investor. He's a big deal investor, honestly. He owns
Nice.
apartments
Richard
in
Knowles.
Houston.
Richard Knowles asks, "I asked because we typically offer the seller's agent to represent us to sweeten the deal and have them work with us. Appreciate it." So that's really what he's doing here. I think that's what he's like.
So
Okay, since I'm
wholesaler
representing
already
you,
said the same about this. Yeah.
got it. Nicole Tedder says, "Using the seller's agent to represent you is fine. Just make sure you understand the agency laws in your state. Certain info you share with realtor would be shared with the seller whether you wanted it or not, but the realtor may
Very
not have
good
to
point.
share certain info with the buyer." Mil Houdini says, "The question may have already been answered, but I just popped in. Are wraps legal in Texas?" Yes, but I think there's certain guidelines and criteria you need to have, and there's ways around that by like
They
having
just put
strategic.
more regulation on wraps.
They put more regulation
Just
on
more
wraps. Ju Yoon says, maybe I missed it, but was there a balloon? No balloon, just a 22-year term. Derek Barton says, "I need a partner to do wraps with, an experienced partner for sure." Derek, bring them here. Wraps in Texas.
That's what we do.
Awesome. So let's go back to it. So
So
we've
Derek, if you have a deal, or if you wanna, if you have one, we can always bring it on this live and break down that deal if you're comfortable on yeah, sharing this address, sharing the address of the deal. We can always bring you on and break it down. Yes.
excellent. Cool. So let's continue with this one.
Yeah, let's see. So what are we going to do next is find a buyer for this home, a homestead buyer. We are going to list this house on
So
the
ARV is
market.
350. So what are you going to list it at?
So possibly, okay, this is another fun part about wraps. Okay, ARV is 350. What did we talk about last couple times? We can list this for 10% higher than ARV,
Right.
or 50% higher than ARV if we want. And there will be people who will race to buy this property in spite of being higher than ARV. We as a company take a moral high ground here. We don't do that for, of course, moral reasons. Of course, our personal, like, we don't want to run this business into a legal complication down the road, because if you have one or two wraps, it's a different story. When you start doing 20, 30, 50 wraps like us, we are like, there is no way we are going to be able to manage so many like bad apples at the same time. So we can, I mean, our goal would be to go up to 385 if that was Houston, because we know Houston, we know brokers in Houston, and we know what's going on. However, even if it was Houston, I'm going to just play like devil's advocate here. At that price point of 350 or higher, the buyer's payment is very high. Okay. The sweet spot for a Texas buyer is around 2,500. And that happens when your property ranges anywhere between 250 and 300. Okay. PITI, 2,500.
Okay.
So now just your own PITI in this case is 2,380. And of course, because this is a high price deal, however, you do have good enough spread. Like you have this 4.875, I'm sorry, 4.75 lien 1 and lien 2 at 0%. If you add them up together, you are below 4% net on your financing. Okay. So you have quite a bit of spread. Of course, there is a risk of due on sale. Of course, there is other things you need to worry about. But let's just say it never gets called. It's fine. In that scenario, you have about 3.5% lien, or even 3% for that matter. I can't. I'll have to run the numbers. But hybrid combined interest rate is 3% on this one. So there is two ways this can go. Okay, so listing price 385. Okay, but if you want to keep the payments lower, you can demand anywhere between 8 and 9.5 interest rate, 8 to 9.5. So let's calculate the payment for, and I also have.
I have a calculator for wraps.
Yeah.
It's like a RE or real estate calculator I got the other day.
Okay, let me.
So what interest rate are you saying?
No, I actually have their mortgage statement. I'm just pulling it up so I know exactly what the PI is. We can stack the rest on top.
Okay. I'm going to do an 8% interest rate, 30-year term. Interesting. So,
okay, can you add this for me if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Principal is $293, and
Okay, so
you know what? I'll just put it here. And 293 plus 535. How much is that?
828.
Okay. Okay, so that's their PI. And the rest is, I mean, so this 1811 also includes personal mortgage insurance. So if this is truly conventional, we are going to verify that there could be potential to actually get rid of mortgage insurance. So that's another almost, the mortgage insurance right now is $146. Also, there is a, hey, I'm sorry, 1 second, guys. My son just walked in. So also there is a overage or escrow shortage of $173 in this 1811. So we are gonna get rid of that after we balance the overage, and we'll get into that why overage comes, etc. But let's just focus on this right now, okay?
Okay.
So PI is 828, and the remaining is TNI, which is taxes and insurance.
It's just the difference between those two.
The difference.
Holy
So
cow!
this is important.
Is more than what you're.
Yeah. So because this is not just TI, this is taxes and insurance and PMI and
PMI.
overage. So PMI and overage, there is a potential to get rid of that and bring this down to more like $400 range. But we'll talk about that later. Let's just calculate worst case scenario and calculate our cash flow. So considering we have this huge TI in this payment, 982, let's see our in PMI. Let me get I already have a formula in here. I'm just going to copy. Okay, so 10.9.
What are you doing? Can you explain to us what you're calculating here?
Yes, I am. I will. Okay. So to calculate your mortgage payment in Excel, there is a formula called PMT. Okay, that's a formula. And that calculates a payment that comes out negative. I don't know why. So that's why I'm multiplying it by -1. So it becomes positive. So basically, it's nothing but an interest rate, which in Texas, we are doing 10.9 today, which we are going to talk about because I inflated the listing price. I'm going to bring that down to maybe more like 8.5.
Okay. Because you inflated the price, you can just charge
Yeah. So I can go with two options here. Okay. One, inflated listing price with lower interest rate, or I can go with lower price and higher interest rate. And there are situations why you would do that.
For example, something like my deal where I'm buying it really close to ARV or above ARV, so I can't really add more to the price. So I have to keep the price where it's at and then just charge a higher interest rate.
Yes. So very good point. So what Munif just said is if the price, your acquisition price is very close to ARV, what that doesn't allow you to do is go below your ARV. In our case, since we are at 325 versus 350, possibly 370 ARV, we have that $25,000 wiggle room to play with. And great point. So these are some of this is one of the many variables that go into deciding what you would do in case of your listing, and it all depends on how the market is, what your buyer is capable of doing, what they plan to do in the future, etc. So with that number, so basically it's interest rate, number of periods. So we usually do 30-year loans as of today. If the prices were, before inflation, like until 2 years ago, a lot of people were doing 15-year notes, which is 180 months, which would have increased their monthly payment significantly. But back then, this house would have cost less than 200,000.
Pace is doing 40-year term for some of his wraps because the price is.
Yeah, that's just to keep it under their affordability. So because of inflation in the last 2 years, affordability has gone down significantly. Yet, so their monthly payment capability is still the same. Yet, house prices have gone up like tremendously. So these are some of the sacrifices we have to do such as going from 180 months to 360 months, which gives us a better bottom line, but monthly payment is smaller. Okay. Now, if you go up to 40 years, it's even smaller. And I mean, you can use that formula to compare it. And then what I'm doing here is basically the listing price, and I'm assuming 10%, 0.1 of the listing price as my down payment. That
Okay, so
gives
you're
me the
taking
loan.
10% down. That's the loan amount is
Yeah.
whatever you're listing it at
So,
minus 10% down is your loan amount.
correct. So now that okay, so that's the new payment. So now compared to this, we are still cash flowing. I'm sorry, we are not going to compare to this because this is just PI. And now I'm going to add TNI here that we calculated up here, $982.64. And then PI is equal to
Wow. So they're gonna that's what the
that.
buyer's gonna be paying $3,600 a month.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy a house in Texas, even with conventional loan, payments are pretty high. Well,
Wow, that's quite high. That's a lot of
I will
money.
take one thing back from this. Okay, I uh, I I said something wrong here. The buyer is not going to pay this much because buyer is not going to match your TI. They will actually pay the insurance and taxes at actual. You're not
You're not
charging them,
escrowing it. You're fronting
and
it.
you're not charging them overage.
Got
Okay.
it.
Um,
So they
so
pay yearly for the
that
time.
will go down to more like $500.
Got it.
Okay. So now this
4,100.
is your true payment. So your cash flow in this case,
So here now our big number here is what is our cash flow for this property?
yeah. So the cash flow for us is
Hey, wow, we're making close to $1,000 a month.
$1,185. But there is big but in here. Just but. But this cash flow, let's just use this cash flow. Okay, this is the worst case scenario because we have not discussed lowering the TI, removing the personal mortgage insurance, and removing overage. So it's still I mean, where do you get $785 true mailbox money? I mean, do you know anywhere any other strategy that gets you that? Probably not,
Right.
right?
Not many.
So now when you get cash flow, like if I invested $1 million to buy an asset that is $10 million or $5 million, whatever it is, if I out of my own pocket put down $1 million to buy something and I make $800 a month, do you think I will like it? No. That's because there is like no measure of cash flow until you put this cash flow in perspective as a percentage of your out of pocket.
Right.
So what is our true out of pocket here? Okay,
So you're
so
talking about
let's go
cash
back
on
to
cash
your,
return, right? You got to look at your cash on cash
yeah,
return. So how much are you putting
exactly.
into the deal and how much are you getting out? Because in this
So
rental,
here,
yeah, what's your
like,
cash on cash return on the rental?
so I'm gonna multiply this by 12 because
Of course.
multiplied by 12 months and divided by
What, 40,000?
43,000.
43,000. So it's
That's like
times
doesn't
100.
even make sense.
Yeah, it's
There is, I mean, it's gonna be negative regardless of what I try to do, right? It's like 4%. I'm losing 4%
you're losing
every year.
4%. Yeah.
So
We are building equity because it's a 0% loan, but yeah, it's
right,
not
yes.
not that
We're
attractive.
gonna get to the equity part after this, like very worst case scenario calculation. So that's like cream on top of everything. So so right now our out of pocket here is, so in this case I didn't calculate out of pocket because we already know we put down 43,000 and the rental tenant is not going to give us any down payment.
Right.
In this case we are actually going to calculate our out of pocket, which is 43,000 minus 38,500.
Which is 10% of the.
Yeah.
But you have to pay the broker,
Plus,
right?
yeah, so I'm gonna remove the broker from 38.5, which is, let's say, 3% or even 4.5% for that matter. Okay,
Okay.
so 4.5 of
385.
85,
Okay.
and then I'm also gonna, I think that's about it. Like there is no
Okay.
other fees.
Okay, $21,000
Out of pocket is 21,825. So now cash on cash is going to be 785 multiplied by 12 divided by out of pocket.
Hey, whoa, 43% cash on cash return.
43%. That's a killer deal. Like that doesn't happen.
And it has a lot of potential to improve.
Yes. So now we are gonna improve that by removing the overage of $173 from this, because that's $173 is just going extra money going into our escrow account. It's still our money. Okay, so it's not a hit to the cash flow. And also potentially we can try to remove the PMI of $146. So now we are down to 663, and which should match the buyer's taxes and insurance. But there are some reasons. I mean, buyers will shop their insurance versus distressed sellers don't pay insurance, so they get charged higher end insurance. So that's why their taxes insurance could be higher. We'll find out all that and improve our cash flow. And if you don't understand that, don't worry about it. That's not important. Important is this number. Okay. And that number is going to improve if I put this in here.
Derek says, wow. Excel spreadsheets
Okay.
give me
Now
headaches.
let's see how
Holy
much it
cow.
goes.
I have to
So
update
if we
this.
improve it, if we improve that number, it is 60% cash on cash return.
And guys, this calculation is very important for you to know. So if you're raising money for this down payment or out of pocket, like you can figure out how much you
Yes.
can pay your investor, and they're gonna, if you're making 60% and they want to see how your deal works, nobody is going to refuse to lend money on this deal if you are borrowing money for your down payment.
That's awesome because I
I
borrow
would
money
do.
for my entry fee all the time.
Yeah,
So
if somebody comes to me with this deal shows this number 60% cash on cash return, I would not hesitate money to borrow that guy. I'll pay him that money.
that's awesome. What interest rate would you charge, Prakash, if you lent on a down funding the entry fee for this kind of deal?
60%.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Prakash will be your private lender at 60%, no problem. But it has
No,
to be.
we are, we are not in this business, right? We don't lend for long term, but you should be able to find lenders between 10 to 15%
Yeah, no problem.
in the market. Yeah, they shouldn't, and that's how much I would pay if I'm borrowing.
Yeah.
No, so Derek's saying if they are getting 8 to 900 over market, I would love to do some raps with them. Yes, man. I mean, we spoke at Kickball. I remember. Let's do the deals. We need more deals. Like, so Prakash and I run this private fund that also feeds a lot of our money. I mean, it's a very small fund, very close knit investors. Some of our close friends. Yes, for now only in Texas, but we do plan to go nationwide, and we will discuss that in the coming episodes of this live. But yeah, I mean, we are open to a lot of suggestions, and if you guys need more deals, it'll just force us to do things that we haven't done before, right?
Thank you. This is amazing. This math showing us the breakdown. This is the really
So
nitty gritty stuff that we really
if
crave.
any of your private lender wants to see numbers, and if you show them this, uh, that's when you're going to get your money. But you're also risking uh, educating them too much, so they would want to do this themselves and make
Well, there's a
60%
lot.
instead of.
I mean, there's a lot. Like you can show this to your lender, and I mean, wraps are exciting, but there's a lot of back end wraps, and we're gonna have Kevin show on next week, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the back end complexity of doing some of these wraps. I know, on a call earlier with me today, Chai Prakash, you guys were telling me about the large amount of transaction coordination that goes on the acquisition side, the disposition side, and even the ongoing maintenance of wraps, especially with these escrows. Like when you're paying escrow, and then they're not, and they're going to pay, and then you've got to reimburse different accounts, and there's all
Yeah,
kinds of little
With
things.
app buyers, you just got to understand one thing, that you are dealing with just a better quality tenant. Okay, it's just, again, I don't want to sound derogatory or in any way, and don't want to offend anybody. I have great tenants. I mean, I'm very thankful to them. That's how I run my family. However, people who just, I mean, people like us who educate ourselves doing this, anybody can do this, right? Anybody who is motivated to change their life can do this tomorrow. You have lenders walking around everywhere. There is private lenders, there is sophisticated lenders, there is all kinds of people. Money is not a problem in this country. That's why we came to this country. Okay. uh, and there is like people who put effort in doing something. I mean, hard work pays off truly in America. So my point is, people who just want to make bad decisions every day, they are not gonna get anywhere. And the tenants that I was talking about, is a lot of our tenants that fall behind, they are just making bad decisions every day. However, in this case, somebody who is trying to step up their life, who is trying to get into their own house, is actually putting down and taking, I mean, putting a big down payment, 10, 15, 20%, and locking themselves in a situation where they are forced to perform, they are forced to make good decisions and step up their entire family and lives. Those are your people here. And those are the people that are still probably with little to no educational background. So that's why I call them just better quality tenants, because in this case you're actually, like, you need to take it slow. You cannot assume that they understand everything. You cannot just throw big words at them and hope they understand. Like escrow, insurance, I mean, all these things you need to really explain to them as if you're explaining it to a 7-year-old. So
Right.
that's why this becomes more complicated when you do it on a scale. It's not as easy as a conventional lender would do. So just be very, very proactive and detailed and slow, and just take it easy with these people.
That's awesome. And thank you for that, Chai. It's 4:05 Arizona time. Guys, if you want us to keep doing this wrap series where we underwrite deals for you, we actually bring your own deals onto the table. We go through personal experiences. Next week, we're going to have Kevin Cho here talking about his wrap in, I think it's in Vegas, or is it in New
New
Orleans?
Orleans.
So we're going to be bringing people on like Kevin. We're going to be bringing people on from the audience to talk about their deals. We're going to talk about some of my deals, some of their deals. If you guys want to continue this series, please shout out Chai and Prakash for coming on, taking time away from their kids, their families, their businesses to be here and to share their wealth of knowledge with you. Chai, Prakash, do we have anything for the audience before we go?
I'll shoot you over this spreadsheet if you want to share it with anybody.
Oh, that's amazing. So, guys, if you want the spreadsheet, make a post and then tag Chime Prakash and then ask for the spreadsheet on the post. And what they'll do is they'll comment on the post with the link to the spreadsheet.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day.